when they sit here and say we need to worry about the minority, the few, what the few wants, which are, the few that's the gays, the few that's the child molesters, the few that's the blacks, the few that's this, the few that's that. This is a minority-based system. It's ran upon what happens to a few of people, a group of people. That's locked into something, where pretty much the same thing happened to them. They got injured or murdered, not killed. Got to start using that word murder. It's not killed when it's murder. They want to erase that word murder and the only time they say murder someone, is when a regular civilian murders someone. Oh, he murdered someone. But when someone in authority, so-called imaginary utopian authority, murders someone, oh, he killed someone. Killed sounds just all right because we heard that word so much in TV and movies and all everywhere. Media, killed, not murdered. When it's murder, when they know. So it's a minority-based system. The voters that win, the one that they want to be the president of everyone, but mainly for them, the few, that's their master. They register and then they vote. They become an employee of the government. I'm a U.S. citizen without swearing an oath of office. That's 3 years in prison for claiming that you're a U.S. citizen when you are not, when you never were sworn in to become an agent or an employee of the United States of America. So everyone outside of that government that's not an employee anywhere of that government, in that government, any departments that government created, law enforcement, all of that's their departments. They created them. They're the ones that follow all of their policies and ordinances and edicts and doctrines and mandates. They're to follow all of that. They got us believing that we're to follow it, and then they're free. They turn themselves into we the people, the free people. And we're persons. They switched roles. They're the persons, the personnel of a corporation, a business. We need a businessman. We got to vote in a businessman. And Trump was the businessman that they voted in for the business, to be the president of a business, a corporation. It's not a government. It's not a country. It's not part of America. It's separate from America. It's not a country. Like I said, go look up in the list of, go onto a website and go in like you're going to become part of it. And then when it asks you what country you're from and it shows you the list of countries, which country are you from, you'll see United States of America or USA, and you'll punch that. You know what you don't look for? And that's not in there? American or America. You live in America. The country of America. The country we say is a country and is our country. And you worship for the United States of America, which is Washington, D.C., when you chant USA. So, you just, I got confused. Something popped up. Getting low on space again. But, so it's probably about to cut off. But yeah, we're based upon a minority system. It's all about the minors. It's all about the children. It's all about the weaker. The law of nature is the strongest survive. The smartest, the most intelligent survives. That's the way and the law of the land, the law of nature, the natural man. We're not supposed to be sitting here creating all these different types of laws to try to save people. People's gonna die, crap's gonna happen, but crime, we put it in somebody else's hands. And we relieved it from our control, our power. We gave our power to keep crime down away to them. Don't shoot them if they break into your house. Just call us. Go hide somewhere. And hopefully they won't find you and kill you. Or we'll get there in time. You know, this is stupid. The American people need to wake up. You're either an American or you are a U.S. citizen. As a U.S. citizen, you have to obey the states and you have to obey the federal government. As an American, you got common law rights, not civil rights that can be taken away. They're privileges. Because the government created, or that corporation created them. They created civil rights for civilians. We are Americans, born in the private before that corporate birth certificate was signed. And you was free. You didn't have a say-so to join them. It was forced upon you. You wasn't given a chance to wait till you were 18, at least 16 years of old. But I think it should be 21. So you are, you know, a little bit more experienced for what? 3 more years of being out in life, seeing what it's like. And then get the chance to say, yeah, I want to be in this system, or no, I want to be free. I don't want to have all this stuff and pay all this money. And if I'm free, I got all my money. There's no income tax as an American, only as a U.S. citizen, government employee, a government or a corporate agent, corporate employee. Agents or employees, and then you got employees, so they're just employees. They're actors. They're acting. They're employees. They learn how to act to be what they are, so that way they can act out the job. They weren't born that way. It wasn't immediate. Here from God. Boom. That's your governor. If that's the way it should be, if God says there would be a government, God should be in control of that government. If God says there will be government, God should be in control of it. But no, we have free will. That's why He put evil down here. Because we have the free will from God to fight them. We can't turn them into martyrs. They're already turning us into martyrs. They got a man in prison right now for 10 years for following the Constitution, and it was because he had a gun, and he was a black man. But guess what? The judge says, ain't no one that comes into this courtroom will have a gun, will own a gun. Gave him 10 years in prison and took away all of his God-given rights because he's claimed to be a U.S. citizen. So he's got civil rights that they created to take away. This is why they usually don't go to jail or prison, and they don't lose their peace officer's license. They've switched the roles. And everybody fell into it just because that's what we were taught from birth. This is the way it is. And your parents taught you that. This is the way it is. Media said it when they put it out through the news. This is the way it is now. So this is the way it is. Don't fight back. You want them to control you. You claim to be a U.S. citizen of that corporation. You check that box. Yep, United States citizen. Where's that box for American? You're not an American. America don't exist. It's not shown as a country to say I live. To say America. That's where I live. That's what I am. Instead, you claim to be a U.S. citizen, so they own and control you. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I was misinformed. I was lied to. I was duped. Conned. And I don't consent to it. I don't want to be a part of it. I get another truck or van. They call it a motor vehicle. It's an automobile first. When you were born free in the private as a spiritual being of God. Till that birth certificate turned your last name into a corporation. And since that last name's attached to you, you're a corporation. Look on your license. Mine shows my name. Number 1. My last name. Ball. Number 1. And then number 2 is your first name and your middle name if you got one. So the last name's the first name, or the last name's the corporation. All your rest of your name is not. So as long as you keep your corporate last name and you don't change it legally, you're stuck in their system. And when you put your first letter, your first name in capital letter, and the first letter of your last name or middle name in capital letter, and then the first letter of your last name, even if you change it in capital letter, you just took yourself out as a private, because they use those all capital letters. It's all supposed to be lowercase. Every word you write at the very beginning, lowercase, all the way through, from beginning to end. That's God-given, normal, natural man writing. All caps was created later. And come to find out, the Pope created the all caps state name. It's not a federal name. It's federal states. They're federal and we're controlled. That you're impeding in a government investigation. Wait a minute, you're a city cop. You're local. Well, it's local government. It's all government. It don't matter if they put local or whatever. It's all federal government. The states are federal government because we're not colonies. Colonies, you're free. That's a normal God-given word. These other words that are in all capital letters, state of Texas, they put that in all capital letters. When you get a note from the court, clerks, you owe money, all in capital letters. The state and your name, your full name. That's who they're doing business with. The all capital letter name that they created and said you have to have. I have to. What happened back then when they started that crap a long time ago, when people fight for their rights? And they didn't fight for their right to freely travel. And they knew the Constitution. They taught the Constitutions in every southern state. They had to learn it to graduate. There's still one state. The kids got to learn the Constitution. And I believe the Declaration of Independence, but mainly the Constitution, or they don't graduate. So everyone that becomes a politician should know the Constitution. Well, but anyways, they do know it all. They created that Constitution for their corporation. There's an organic Constitution. The original one created by George Washington and them. And it's called the Organic Constitution because they have the new one. And the old one still applies. It's not gone. We have to enforce it because it's our right. Stated in the Bill of Rights. It's our right. By law. For them to obey. It's law for them. The employees of the corporate government to obey because they put it in there. They went ahead and put it in there even though they redid it. But the problem is they didn't leave the word people in there.